friends. This is Precious, and welcome back to Catching Up with Friends, episode 14. For today's guest friend, duh, he is my college friend, and he is a very good friend of mine. Please welcome Matt. Ooh. Hi, Matt.
Hi, gang.
Kumusta?
Doing well, I guess.
Okay, let's do a time check. It is 7:03 p.m. here in California.
It's 10 a.m. in the morning here in the Philippines.
I invited you to be our guest friend because we want to be fair. We talked about the public school teachers, and of course, for Teachers Month celebration, we will not forget the private school teachers, right? So thank you so much. But before that, let's go back to our best time together or best memory together.
Again, man, it's a lot of memories that I can still remember way back in college. Because as far as I can remember, if I would compare high school memories to my college, I would prefer to remember more on my college days rather than in my high school.
Sana all. First, I love that because you were an officer for WBS. You were our ears and eyes, right? So you invited
I
us to join the speech choir. I love that experience. Thank you so much, Matt. It was you really who invited us to join the speech choir.
I would say that most of the days that we have together at the laboratory is something that we can never forget, especially when the professor is not yet around.
How long have you been teaching in a private school?
This is my this is my 10th school year teaching in the private school. So by the month of June next year, I'll be in my 10th year of service. I am now presently teaching at Notre Dame de Diangas University. So I was assigned in integrated basic education department teaching junior high school.
Okay. For 10 years, why did you choose to stay in private school?
It was a calling for me to be part of a private sector in an institution where I was able to see my worth as a teacher. For now, I still see myself um, helping these young children, though they're well off, yes. Masabi natin, they are really rich by finances. Young children are mostly product of a broken family. And if not broken family, broken by no choice because their parents have to go abroad to give them a good life.
What is it like to be a private school teacher?
Could say that being a private school teacher is like a comfort zone that any teacher could have, especially if you're planning to do some training of your teaching principles and methodologies that you would like to apply someday if you would like to settle as a teacher. The private school will really provide you with everything that you need, like from seminars. They do give seminars and will equip you in your future endeavor to help these young children. And of course, let's not forget about the resources. We can deny the fact that one of the problem that the public school teachers faces right now is that somehow they have to pick some resources out of their pocket.
True.
Unlike last year, the administration or the school will provide you with everything that you need. You just have to request it. Kumbaga sabi nga nila, everything that you do here in the private school is being paid. So walang magsasabi sa'yo na pag once binigyan ka ng extra job, they will say thank you alone. But it would always come with a compensation. So yun yung maganda. Pag nasa private school.
Besides like resources that's freely given to you, you also have like extra compensation for an extra work.
Yes.
That's so nice. What's the best and worst thing about being a private school teacher?
The thing that they keep on telling me that when I retire as a teacher, what would be my future? Because the private school will not provide you with a lot of money when you retire, or the pension that you get is very different when you retire from a public school. In my end, I would not enjoy the life that I would have after the retirement, but it
Mm.
should be before I will retire.
Yeah.
And the private school will provide you with, like for example, in us, before pandemic, the private school always give us travel perks, going to
I can
places
see
in the
that.
Philippines. And siguro since 2013, I was able to travel from places here in the
I
Philippines.
know. I imagine public school teachers would have to solicit, you know. But you, in your case, you have this, you will be provided.
Yes.
Did you ever think of transitioning to public school?
I really have attempted after 3 years,
You
but
did.
I withdraw the application. 3 years of probationary status. Our senior would always remind us that if you are not intent to stay here sa institution or sa NDDU, you should transfer already because
Mhm.
they said that you will really be attached to the institution after you found out that you already a regular teacher. Kasi medyo malaki ang pinagkaiba ng sweldo ng
Hmm.
ng probationary status teacher compared to a regular school teacher in a
Mhm.
private school. Sa case namin.
Can you please tell the viewers what are the misconceptions about private school teachers?
One thing that somehow I would like to clarify, most of them always think that a private school doesn't have a proper training, or they will always think that private school teacher are incompetent enough because most of them are just passing by the school, especially that
Mm.
they believe that a private school teacher would always use the school for training grounds. And I would say it's not the same as with everyone. Just like in my case, it really helped me a lot. Staying in
Mhm.
a private school molded me as who I am right now, being a teacher that
Mhm.
knows how not only to sympathize, but
Mhm.
as they said, you really need to empathize.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, ang pagiging competent na teacher is up to how you enhance yourself, whether you're still in public school or private school. So yun siya.
So, the misconceptions that you have experienced or that you have heard is, I mean, number one is teachers, private school teachers are incompetent because they lack training. Second is private school teachers use the private school as training ground and then leave them. Well, it is true for
Yes.
some, but not for all, right?
Sabi nila when you are in a private school, mababa ang salary
Mhm.
compared to public school. Hindi nagkakalayo yung sweldo namin with the public school kasi may mga bagay na like for example, you do an extra work.
I
The school
know.
really gives you additional payment. And sometimes may iba pa na they're doing their private tutorials,
Oh,
which
yeah.
mas malaki pa sa kanilang salary.
I never thought that private school teachers are incompetent, but I know that in my mind, that's why teachers are moving to public school teacher because you are less paid. But that's not the case. Wow, that's so good. What frustrates you about teaching in private school?
This true to all private school teachers. One thing that makes it problematic in a private school, teaching private school, because the parents will really get into the picture.
Mm.
They really wanted to insist something that they
Mm.
believe that should be followed by the school.
Yeah. How about what satisfies you staying in in private school?
Um, in my case, I'm really close with my students. Even some of our teachers are really saying something na hindi dapat. You should
Mm.
always put space, or let's
Boundary.
say boundary between you as a teacher and a student. But one thing that I can't help is when the student are already starting to share their life,
Mm.
when they talking about their family,
Mhm.
when they said that you're the only person that I can count on, especially my
Mm.
parents, because you know how in you know and you understand my situation right now, which my parents didn't understand at all.
Mhm.
And to hear that from them satisfies the the statement that teachers are the second parent of
Mm.
the students. And seeing them change and become a better person and successful person right now, it
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction.
That's so
Kumbaga,
nice. Can you describe a pandemic teacher like you?
in a word, I would describe a private school teacher right now. In my case, um, persistent. So we do have modular slash um, online teaching,
Mm.
just like this one. So we have our schedule that alternating schedule from asynchronous to synchronous learning. So you have your online class today. You will have your modular schedule tomorrow. Another online class, then modular. Then the final
Mm-hmm.
day of the week would be consultation.
How about in one word, describe a pandemic student in private school?
I guess this word is due or true to all students, even in public school, struggling. That's the reality right now. Students are struggling because the sudden change or shift of learning process
Mm-hmm.
or way of learning is really abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
That even some students are still having a hard time of adapting
Mm-hmm.
even right now, especially those students that have problem academically during the face to face. We can see that they even have problems even online, especially that online modalities. In our case, we don't offer remedial classes anymore.
Oh, that's why. This one, private school teachers, public school teachers, wherever we teach, we always have, we always get criticisms, right? How do you handle criticisms from teachers?
I see all the criticisms that they give me as a constructive one, and I'm thankful because the mentors that I have when I was still in my probationary status really make a lot of um, change the way that I see teaching. I see them as a very promising teacher
Mm,
with their students, and they have really made a big or good assistance during the time that I'm still struggling
mm.
with my with the way that I should handle my students. And looking back 9 years ago, that's almost 9 years ago,
Ah,
seeing myself, if I didn't listen to the constructive criticisms that they give, probably I'm not the teacher that I am right now.
I have experienced this a lot of times. Instead of like containing my emotion or get angry at in the class, I preferred to just walk out of the class. Did you ever walk out of the class because of a difficult student? Mm.
The students that I am talking with is the one that walks out of the class,
Mm.
and I need to chase after that student, and I don't know what's the problem. Some of his teacher would always say that they really need to run off because the student is really delinquent. It's
Mm.
really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But in my case, um, it's different because he's the one that annoys with my response. Because the
Mm.
teachers that he encounters most of the time would always react on his action. But
Mm.
in my case, I would just said, okay, just do something. Just don't disturb the class. But
Mm.
if you do, expect for a consequence.
If you are to say a prayer about everything that's going on today, what is it? Be?
I pray to God that everything will be back to normal,
That's what we
the
are
way that it
hoping
used to
for.
be.
If there is one character you want your students to learn from you, what is it?
The word that I keep on talking earlier was the word being persistent.
Mm-hmm.
They need that because the world that they will have after their schooling would be harsh.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the kind of person that have this kind of attitude being persistent, and I guess you will always convert all the negativity that you have around to be positive
Mm-hmm.
and to strive even better than who you are right now.
What makes a good day at school?
Seeing our students,
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing that really satisfies me every time that I see them every day.
Matt, How do you motivate yourself after a bad day at school?
A simple word of saying or simple phrase or word saying that you are enough is
That's nice.
something that will really push yourself after a very bad day.
Mm.
So always tell yourself that you are enough and you don't have to prove yourself from these people.
Matt, 10 years or maybe 5 years from now, do you think you will still be in a private sector?
Honestly speaking, I I have set myself to be in the teaching profession for 10 years. But because of the pandemic, there are plans that had changed.
Mm-hmm.
I have to adjust. But honestly speaking, I don't see myself anymore in a private school institution 10 years from now. Of course, I'm I still believe that there are a lot of things that are waiting for me outside the parameter of this private institution, like probably opportunities outside the countries and all. I don't really know yet.
It's
There are
like
things
a
still
dilemma.
uncertain. Yeah.
It's like going public school or going abroad. Which
Mm.
one? Because you have discussed this, if you are going to have a one-on-one talk to a very new teacher in a private school, do you have any advice for her or for him?
I would always remind them not to copy anyone.
Mm,
Being a teacher, what? Find yourself as a teacher. Be who you are as a teacher, and find the beauty of being you as a teacher, and not because you were in. Yeah, inspiration is good.
mhm.
That's normal. You inspired with this teacher. You
Yeah.
inspired with this and all,
Mhm.
but never to copy the way she or he does. Especially that the fact that each one of us are unique in our own way.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
becoming a teacher of your own uniqueness, that's the best thing that you could do for yourself as a teacher.
Do you have a message to all private school teachers, public school teachers for Happy Teachers Month?
The Teachers Month would all remind us of our worth as a teacher, but make every day as a reminder that you are a teacher and you are a life changer. That so long as you're doing your job as a teacher, you are the hero of this nation.
Teachers, you are our heroes.